We're live. Today's show has Nic from Epiphan. Nic, welcome aboard. You've been on the show before, but mainly remotely.
Yeah, that's right.
Today you're here in the room. So today's show is about the Pearl family of video encoders. Now, there's three Pearls. There's the original Pearl, which is now the Pearl 2. There's the Pearl Mini, which is over there, the Pearl Nano. Three products that really are based on the same core technology, but what we've learned is they're being used very differently for very different markets. So we want to focus on each one as a standalone item to really let people hear what it does and how it can fit into their workflow. Now, some people may want 5 of these, 6 of these, 3 of these. We're fine with that. But the point is that each serve a specific function. And I want you to really go off of that function. When we were at NAB, you really did a great job of explaining how these verticals and how the functionality fit. And, you know, my dad used to have a saying that, you know, no one needs quarter-inch drill bits. What people need is quarter-inch holes. So I want to take this show as really saying, what does the Pearl solve? What problem? So let's start with this puppy first, the Pearl Nano. I'm going to hold it up over here. I'm going to let you hold it while you talk about it. Talk about why the Pearl Nano is such a unique product and why it fits into so many workflows so well, especially as we're going to IP workflows in today's world. IP beyond NDI, but I'm talking about SRT, remote, things like that.
Yeah, so I think it's a family of products, like you said, that add intelligence to existing infrastructure. And that's important to understand that this device is a single channel encoder. It's the world's smartest single channel encoder and recorder. And you know what makes it smart is the smart people stay at home. And so you can take this device and put it in line with any channel. So you've got a high-end video production board that you've had in the past that you have difficulty getting Zoom or Teams participants into. This can sit on that input and provide that ability to bring it in. It allows you to configure it through the cloud. You can monitor the channels in real time. We also see a lot of folks using this, especially in the live event community, because that's the vertical that this is really designed for. We see them using it for recordings. H.265 encryption is a great way to get a nice dense file. Also, because it supports 4K, a lot of people put a 4-channel multi-view into the end of it. So you're getting your 4 1080p feeds via 4K record. And that's a really efficient way to get four different video edits out of it as well.
Yeah, and I know in the corporate space, a lot of people are using it as a set it and forget it setup, where the CEO, the CFO, the marketing director can just go into a room. It's all set up. All he has to do is hit go, and he can instantly be encoding to wherever he wants to take it. Which, when you're getting into the C-suite, folks, simple is king, right?
Yeah, absolutely. Really popular for similar applications as remote contributors. Folks will send this on site with one of the many high-end cameras available out there, plug it in, know they're going to get a really high-quality feed, but again, your engineers can manage it remotely. Every other device in the world is dumb. It requires a person to be there to physically touch it or to update it or to be involved with it. And the cloud tools that we surround these products with truly make them different.
Awesome. Now let's move on to, I'm going to call it the big brother, the Mini. Feel free to show people that. Now, the Mini, you might notice if you hold it up, has a little display screen, which I really like. I think this is, my first love of this was like for the teacher or professor who wants to bring in a PowerPoint, kind of run a show, keep it simple. It's got the multiple inputs, but take it away on where you see the verticals where this product really shines, the Pearl Mini.
This is such a unique product out in the marketplace because it's so approachable by so many different humans. I mean, I can tell you so many stories. In fact, for me personally, I took this device when I first met Epiphan. They sent it to me. I took 2 Logitech Brio USB cameras into the back of them because I had them more for the video conference side, right? So I had that. I plugged in my Nikon SLR into the HDMI. I set one Brio up in front of my wife, one at a 45-degree angle, and then I put the Nikon camera over her shoulder. And within 2 hours, I set up an infant massage class for her. She's an occupational therapist.
That's awesome.
Yeah, it was awesome. And best part about it, by the way, was once I had it all set up and I had the layouts and I had her branding and her title and all the acronyms and on there and all set up in the room, ready to go, she says, "You're going to make me nervous if you're in the room." Marriage, right? So what did I do? Well, I grabbed the beer and went sit on the couch and I used an iPad to switch the show from the other room. Because again, you don't have to be in the room. So this is a device that people will use for a lot of house of worship. This has been incredibly powerful because volunteers can use it. Volunteers can manage it. Really popular for any kind of event where you need to kind of an ad hoc. Universities use this for one-button studios. In fact, we just had Westchester County up the road from us. They started putting a one-button studio in their library, so real estate agents or aspiring musicians could go in and record things on the fly quickly. Unlike the Nano, this gives me 3 channels of recording.
Right.
So a lot of times I talk about 1, 3, 6, 20. 1 channel on a Nano, 3 on a Mini, and what we'll talk about next gets us into the big guy, the Pearl 2 with 6. But this is a great device and it's a standalone and also works with everything you've got.
And one of the things I think is important, we've got XLR inputs on that too. So a lot of people are using more professional microphones. It's an easy setup, an easy plug it in. It's not like you have to get all kinds of crazy adapters and stuff, which, believe it or not, that's tough when you work with volunteers. You know, bad audio is the bane of every video production, right?
Well, exactly. And the other part of the equation is just at a much simpler level. When you have a cable you can't plug in, everyone starts to get paralyzed.
Exactly.
Right? We train people to. So one of the things worth mentioning about this product is, yeah, it's a standalone appliance, but it does support not only physical connection for USB, SDI, HDMI. It also supports, you know, RCA, line level, XLR audio, and virtual connections. NDI-HX was recently added to the device back in the spring. And that's something else that makes us unique, is these devices get smarter with age, kind of like good wine, I guess.
There you go. Now let's talk about, I'm going to call it the original, even though it's the Pearl 2, but this is the big brother, the product that we have had these sold in so many different spots. We've got court systems using 20, 30, 40 of these. We've had them used in other corporate situations. We've got houses of worship using it. We've got people with banks of these just for recording. A lot of event people are using it. They'll have one for play out and one for just recording as part of their whole show. And they're playing out multiple streams, and they're also playing out recordings from multiple devices. So this is the Pearl 2, the big brother, the big kahuna, the unit that really started it all. And it's really aimed at a different market, because this is really a standalone event streaming production tool.
Sure. Yeah, this really gives you that interoperability back into a studio.
Show off the jacks to start, since we the last one.
And you know, with this, you're going to get more channels of inputs. This is going to give you 6 channels of independent recording, as well as being able to put out 6 NDI-HX streams, SRT streams, you name it. And what's really nice about this, again, is that it takes existing technology. Oftentimes in the broadcast studio, you get multiple inputs, and we'll take that signal flow now and we create intelligence with it. So you leverage the technology you've got. This is also on the control plane. You know, each of these devices can be controlled by Crestron, Extron, QSYS.
So important.
They can push content to media site, Panopto, Kaltura, Yuja. I mean, all these different things. So what that does for your customers ultimately is it gives you a tool that removes the objections of professional audio and video. You don't worry about locking yourself into a closed garden. In fact, we break down those walls that exist for people.
So I also want to talk about, that we talked about these 3 items, something that's kind of going off script a little bit, but I'm going to bring back the original slide, and that is, when I started talking, I talked about how these could be used together in a big system. If you've got like an enterprise level, or we've tweaked your mind a little bit, and you think you could deploy 10, 20, 15, 30 of these throughout an organization, an enterprise, a corporate offices, whatever, give us a call. We'll get you in touch not only with our sales team, but we'll get right on with the Epiphan guys. We'll work it out, and we've got programs where when you're getting into big systems like that, we can roll in some additional discounts for you. It's going to depend on the opportunity, but I think it's real important to let you guys know that we can help you integrate these into whatever your system was. You said Crestron, you said, you know, some of those big names. Those scare people a little bit. So just a little bit of you guys being able to help them get going. Your support is phenomenal. It's US-based live support, which I think is important to tell people about. And I think these products, the other thing is they are rock solid. You guys you started making products for like the medical and commercial type of world. You've had products that have launched into space with rocket ships. You've got products being used in incredible industrial applications. And when you set one of these up, be it in a house of worship, a school, a corporate environment, it's really going to be, you're not going to have to worry about it. You're going to be able to set it and forget it and operate it from anywhere in the world. So even though the guy in front might not know what he's doing, someone in their pajamas at home can log in and get it started. And I think that's just so cool from a management point of view. You know, one of the things that I think scares people about deploying massive amounts of equipment, whatever it is in the AV space, is, oh, one of them is going to go rogue. Someone's going to hit a setting and mess me up and everything's going to come down. It's not true with your stuff. Someone can always log in remotely and bring everything back to what we'll call the status state, wherever you want that basic state to be for that product.
Well, but it starts with visibility and real-time awareness as to what's going on with the technology. And so whether that's that single standalone unit at a local, facility or community center, and a volunteer from their couch can see what's going on, up to our largest enterprise deployments. And what I'd love to just storytell is a really beautiful deployment at a university down in Tennessee. Middle Tennessee State University has 420 rooms, primarily running on Pearl Minis, and they manage it with 2 human beings.
Incredible.
What they told me is, with a resettable power supply and a Pearl Mini, they've made all their existing professional AV gear smart. It was all dumb before. And why was it dumb? Because they couldn't see what was going on with the video routing.
Right.
By routing through us to support a couple applications, they start to get intelligence. So they can see what's going on in the rack. They know how the feed's getting up to Panopto, who's their partner of choice. And then they take the output of the HDMI into our AVIO capture card into a room PC, and now they're front-ending their Zoom experience. So, in the case of a student at Middle Tennessee State University, if you're home with a sick kid or you can't make it to class that day, you dial into Zoom, you're still going to get the richness of all that professional AV gear in the room. And when you go watch the footage later in Panopto, it's been recorded. And when you go into their high-end performing arts room, they simply apply a Pearl 2 because they need a bigger unit. And when they go into their one-button studios, they use a Nano or a smaller. So we can use these depending upon whether you need 1, 3, or 6 channels of recording. We start to scale the system. But they manage all 420 units through the same application. They get notified when something's offline. They get told when something needs updating. So they have an active way of managing all this existing time.
And the kids are logging in via Zoom or Teams or logging in because it's just easy and everyone has it.
Yeah.
The production is actually the high production from the room that I'd be getting if I was in there myself, which is really incredible. I'm not caught on like a Zoom call with 20,000 windows. No, I'm sending one image on Zoom to that student to be able to really learn. Plus, he can chat and get back to the professor where he's got to do. Nic, this was great. I think we really went into the 3 products, Pearl Nano, Pearl Mini, Pearl 2. Is there anything you want to add before we close the show?
I'll just say, for any of you that haven't used an Epiphan device, reach out, use the product, demo it, try it, and here's what you'll discover. This thing says yes to everything. There's no objection it can't overcome, and I encourage you to take that challenge with us. Thank you.
Awesome. Thank you very much, Nic. Always good to see you. Thanks for being on the show, and we'll catch you next week. Thank you. Peace.
Videoguys is available Monday through Friday. Give us a call at 1-800-323-2325. Don't forget to follow us on Twitter and Instagram to stay connected with all of our updates. And you can like us on Facebook. Keep an eye out for our live videos, and don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel. Thanks for watching.